So you ready?
So we can start, yeah? Good day, audience. So the position is the position of our group is that the main aim of education is well-being. Joanne? As you can see from our poster, that there is steps to reach the well-being.
Yeah. Okay, it's my turn. Well, as you can see that all these 4 steps follows as a process, as a layers of process, which finally achieve the main idea of that well-being is the main idea of education. And I will talk about more about self-determination. Self-determination means the freedom to make your own choice. The freedom to make your own choices of your life, of anything you want to decide. Can you imagine of that? How it will be if you cannot decide yourself, decide your life, decide what you want to do? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It's nice.
John have mentioned that education it's a process, and I want to add that it gives us a lot of opportunities. For example, through knowledge, you may to start think more critically, more deeply. Through skills and knowledge, you may get a best job, well paid, and eventually you you gave an opportunity to self-develop your skills, and in the result you will be happy and satisfied. That's it.
And we put it the knowledge on the first step because the university is like studying us that we have to thinking out of box. But first of all, we have to know what in the box. So there's the first step in our opinion.
And then comes to education for how to think. Well, what matters most for education is not knowledge itself, but the process of gaining knowledge. So it's more like critical thinking. So education is the purpose of education is to teach you how to gain the knowledge.
I'm going to stop you.
Yep.
Because your 3 minutes is up.
Okay.
Okay.
So questions, guys?
As you said that education for knowledge, you mentioned about pedagogy probably matters the most. I cannot see that it's kind of education for knowledge. So could you explain me why you think the pedagogy matters most in the knowledge square? And also why the second sentence is to learn how to learn. I think the second sentence also should put to the second part, education for how to think. I don't know if you agree.
Now, actually, I think the second sentence is on the contrary of the concept of education for how to think, because he said that Romanticism gave us a faith in the half-truths, that the important thing of students for learning is how to learn. The half-truths. So actually there comes a debate between these two parts. So I put the sentence here. It shows the debate, and
the men's knowledge is the other half.
It's not mentioned. The knowledge is not mentioned here, but I just want to say that there comes a debate because he according to Hirsch, he seems to agree that learning how to learn is the key factor and is the key purpose of the education. So there is some debate here, and
Okay, 50% of knowledge is fine, but the first one about pedagogy.
yeah, because you mentioned that knowledge matters, curriculum matters, but pedagogy probably matters most. Pedagogy is yeah. Have you two any any ideas about that?
So what was the question? Why we put it here?
Yeah.
I think Joanne explained why.
Yeah.
Said everything.
May I ask a question?
Yeah,
Yes, please.
please.
When I see this picture, I have to say this logic is very clear and it's absolutely very easy to say. But I thought it might be a little vague. I mean, I just want, could you please help us to have better understanding of what is the, maybe more closely to describe the connection between step 2 to 3, because I thought there's a very annoying question that lot of people get well educated might hardly to get a job. I mean, the link is education for how to think can consequently result in that education can get your work. So could you please? Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Well, as mentioned before, these 4 steps follow layers of process, which means we will the education for knowledge will comes first, and then education for how to think. But it not means that they have directly relation. It comes through certain layers of process. It comes first, and then second, and then third. But which not means this part will directly.
So it means
Reach.
4 layers of. Okay, then yes.
Yes.
Makes sense.
It's go deeply, but not means that they have direct relation between this one and this one.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a very good question. Yeah, because maybe this looks like just arrows, but in our opinion, there is the big gap here, and if you know how to think, of course, it doesn't mean that you will get a good job,
Yes, definitely.
but it will like helps to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Give
deeper.
you a chance.
Without the way of good thinking, you will never get a job. But
Yes.
so
Yeah.
there is
It
not
just
just error;
shows-
there is like 100 hours of studying this here
Yeah.
Okay.
in here.
Yeah. So the map just shows the process of exploring the purpose of education.
Yes.
So
More questions?
никто не поддержал.
More questions?
Okay.
Maybe John has a question.
I don't. But you wrote some questions. What about over in the other side? Have you got some questions? Did they? Back over here.
I've got questions.
Thank you.
So I have seen your conclusion is satisfaction, self-development,
Self-determination.
and happiness. So as we can see from the 2 parts of the purpose of education, like a process. So how can you just draw this conclusion out? So 3 words to. That is the conclusion you made, or
Yeah, in our opinion, that well-being,
mm-hmm.
that definition of well-being is satisfaction, self-determination, and happiness.
So how can you how did you define it from the evidence above?
Okay, the previous step is education for self-development. As Friedrich said that students should be primarily educated not to memorize things, but to develop potentialities of his own self. And do you remember that Marples wrote
Yes,
a lot
remember.
about sake, that the education is for a whole person, and there is the link that if you are well educated, after the 3 steps, you will develop yourself, and in the next stage, you will just feel yourself satisfied and happy.
Oh, okay,
So,
I see.
in our opinion.
Yeah, thank you.
So can I understand with this way? I mean, the fourth part and the fifth part is a little similar with each other. So your, I mean, the aim of education is also can be regarded as a for self-development.
Yeah,
Well,
that is a very good
self-development
question.
is also it is only one part
Yeah.
of
Of
well-being. Yes.
Yeah, the well-being is too deeply, it's too like philosophical.
And more broader.
So you use this kind of mark, this mark, so can be transformed to each other. These two. And
Yeah, this
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a transform here.
Okay, I think we have to stop there. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So if you can do a swap. Maybe it'd be good if you've got your name tag thing in front of you.
We did.